Good afternoon, friends. You are listening to Full Toss on Radio Dil, online radiodil.com for iPhone downloads. Application known as Radio Dil. You can also listen to us on your regular phones. Dial in the number 408-418-5000. Once again, that is 408-418-5000 for Android phones. Application known as Tune Radio. आप सुन रहे रेडियो दिल, दिल से दिल तक. Time in the studio is 2:05, January 26, 2013. This is your host, Amit. Would like to welcome all the listeners and above all, Amanat, welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you very much, Amit. It's a cold, wintry day in New Jersey, but cricket is keeping us all warm everywhere.
Indeed, sir. And I know you had a pretty busy night.
Yes, I watched the Australia Sri Lanka T20 match. I watched that.
And I was busy watching the Ranji Trophy finals between Saurashtra and Mumbai.
Yeah, that should be interesting too.
Indeed, sir. So we have a lot to cover today, Amanat.
Okay.
In fact, here's the lineup of what I have in mind today. And as always, as I always mention that, Amanat, on air, that we don't really have a set parameters. Okay. These are the topics of discussions. We'll delve into it, and as time permitting, we'll try to cover as much as possible. But here's how I plan on doing things today. We'll start out with India versus England, South Africa versus New Zealand, Australia versus Sri Lanka. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, we'll start our show today with Australia and Sri Lanka T20 International that just concluded recently. Okay. We'll talk about that. Amarnath, we'll also have I'll let our listeners know about the Women's World Cup, which will be starting very, very soon.
Okay.
In coming days. So I'll let our listeners know about the venues and the dates for these matches. Also, we have our This Day in Cricket segment.
Okay.
I've also brought in some Did You Knows.
Hmm.
And obviously, we'll talk about the Ranji Trophy finals between Mumbai and Saurashtra that is being played at the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai.
At one time, I remember a Ranji final was as good as a test match.
Yes, indeed, sir. As a matter of fact, now, I don't know if you have been following the recent matches. They're equally interesting now.
Yes, that much I'll agree. I followed the last few matches, especially Punjab and Saurashtra. I followed. I really like that.
I'll start with the Did You Know? Did you know that BCCI they started charging for these matches now for the spectators to come in, 50 rupees per person?
I'm not too sure if that's a good idea. I think BCCI is rich enough. They need to market the show. I would rather prefer it to be $5 as a token amount towards a charitable cause. And they should get club and younger cricketers to come and watch the game.
Yes, indeed. I mean, yes.
I'm sure people would love to come and watch Sachin play for Mumbai.
There was enough crowd there yesterday, Amanat. I did see that. I mean, obviously, most of the Wankhede Stadium was empty anyway.
Okay.
But we'll delve into that as the show progresses. Amanat, let's start our discussion today with Australia and Sri Lanka.
Okay.
The first T20 that was played in Sydney.
Okay.
Now, those of you who missed this match completely, here's how it unfolded. Australia batting first scored 137 after losing 3 wickets. 90 for David Warner in just 62 deliveries, 5 boundaries and 3 sixes, Amanat.
Yes.
1 for Finch. Marsh was out on 6. 11 for George Bailey and Vogus. 25 not out. Sri Lankan bowlers did their job. They restricted Australia to a pretty manageable total, Amanat.
Yes, 137 doesn't set the house on fire.
Especially now the way teams are performing in T20s. 137 doesn't look like a pretty, at all a decent total.
You need at least 145 to 150 in wickets outside India. Let me clarify. In India, you need 180 in subcontinental wickets. But on the foreign pitches or international grounds outside the subcontinent, you do need anywhere from 150 to 170 in that range to have a good shot at defending that total.
138 as that was the target set for the Sri Lankans to chase. Here's how the chase started for Sri Lanka. Pereira was out on 33. Dilshan, 16. They both had a 6 each. 2 boundaries for Pereira. Jayawardene, a very dangerous batsman, Amanat, and Doty took care of him pretty well. And I know you probably definitely have something to add to that. He was out on 8, 5 for Chandimal, Dinesh Chandimal. And Angelo Matthews once again came to Sri Lankan rescue.
Yes.
I thought he played a pretty good innings, Amarnath.
I think it was a very interesting match. It went through a lot of cycles, if I can call it.
Sri Lankans lost 5 wickets in the chase.
It was The chase was not a straight line. Let me put it that way.
Okay. Now, do we have a fundamental analysis for
Yes,
this?
I do have.
Let's get right into it.
Okay. The chase for Sri Lanka.
Now, before you get into that, those of our listeners who are joining in recently for this new year, give our listeners a little taste of what this analysis is all about.
See, when a chasing team has to score, say, in this case, 138, they have 120 balls to score their 138 runs. They also cannot lose more than 10 wickets. If they lose 10 wickets, or they can't lose more than 9, they have to score their runs within these two parameters. Normally, whenever the regular television stations tell you, they tell you what is the runs per over needed.
Runs per over, exactly.
They don't tell you a factor in how many wickets has been lost.
And that's what you call what do you call as resource clock indicator,
or the run chase index.
The run chase index.
I call it the run chase index,
Yes.
RCI, the run chase index, because you have to always keep in mind if you don't have enough wickets, you are going to fall back. You can afford to take risks if you have got 9 wickets in your hand. You can't afford to take enough risks if you have only 3 wickets in your hand. It's as simple as that. We don't have to spell that out in for a club cricketer.
Now, Manat, this analysis of yours is ball by ball.
Ball by ball. I maintain it and make a study after every over.
After every over, but your main markers are at the 1/3 of the match.
1/3 of the match and at 2/3 of the match.
And two-thirds of the match.
Of the chase.
Of the chase.
Of the chase.
So let's talk about Sri Lanka and Australia, and I'll fast forward it to the one-third marker.
That is after 7 overs or so.
After 7 overs.
So that's about 35% of the deliveries delivered. At the end of 7 overs, it was very interesting to see the score was at that stage for Sri Lanka 52 for 1.
Yes.
52 for 1. At that stage, the research clock index very clearly showed that Sri Lanka was ahead of the clock. Because at that stage,
because they had the resources available.
They had about 76% of the resources available.
To chase?
To chase 62% of the target.
There we go.
76% of gunfire you have. You have bullets worth 72% available, and the target was only about 62%. So you have enough firepower to... so even if you miss a few shots, you can still meet your target, assuming that you can score fairly accurately. And so that's why the probability of winning at that stage was 68. But let us see how the game changed in the coming overs. Between overs 7 and 13, there was a major shift in the momentum both ways, in both directions.
Yes, I can see that. I can see that very well.
At the end of 7 overs, it was 52 for 1. By 8th over, it became 56 for 2. That also is not a very big change in momentum. I would say the probability came down to 60%. But then, next over, they were at 6 for 3, 61 for 2. But in the 10th over, the score became 66 for 3. That changed the momentum to some extent. But at 69 for 4 and the end of 11th over...
And that's where Jayawardene wicket was gone.
70 for 4 at the end of the 11th over, Sri Lanka was behind the clock marginally. They had scored enough runs, but they had also lost enough number of wickets. At the 11th over, you could say slightly above the 50% mark in terms of the deliveries. They had lost 4 wickets, but scored about 70 runs, half the runs. So they were behind the run chase index. But then they consolidated. Sri Lanka consolidated, and you can see immediately after the 11th over, they scored in the next 2 overs 6 runs and 12 runs and 7 runs and 9 runs without losing a wicket. So they accelerated their scoring without losing wickets. Let's come to the 13th over, because that is a very good indicator for me. Usually, the position at the 13th over is a remarkable indicator of how the match is going to end. Even 7 overs to go, you get a very good indicator at the 13th over. At the 13th over, when the score was 88 for 4, they had not lost any more wickets. They managed to score 20 runs.
Sri Lankans.
The probability again came back to 57%. Anytime you have more than 50% or 55%, the match is a very good chance of winning, the chasing team winning. If they are, say, below 45%, very good chance they would lose. They were above 55%. So they're at 57%. And that's what happened. They kept scoring runs and they lost only one more wicket. They maintained that momentum and they won very comfortably with 7 balls to spare.
And I think what Amarnath is saying is correctly pointed out with Matthews, playing the lead role here. Thirumani and Pereira, Thisara Pereira. By the way, there are 2 Pereiras playing in this match.
My God.
I'm not sure if they're relatives, but one of the Pereiras, he opened up the innings along with Dilshan, and that's Janit Pereira.
Janit Pereira. I know the other Pereira.
Tisara.
Tisara Pereira.
Now, what was also interesting, Amarnath, is Jayawardene did not open.
Yes, he came down.
If you look in the past, I would say recent year, or more than a year or two, anytime Jayawardene opens the innings, there's a great chance he always succeeds in that. He doesn't give up his wicket that easily, but as opposed to when he comes down to 3 or 4, I think the statistics are against him in the recent past.
Okay.
But I'll let you decide that whenever you look into your numbers. But that was our take on Sri Lanka and Australia.
Yes, I think it was a very good match. I was surprised that Australia still not got the formula for T20 as of yet. They're trying new players. Now they've got this George Bailey playing for them as a captain. They have not really won anything big.
And that takes me back to Skanda's comment last week when he said this is still what did he call A? Australia A.
Australia A team.
Australia A team. Well, Amarnath, friends, you are listening to Full Toss. This is your host, Amit, along with Amarnath on Radio Dil, online, radiodil.com. Time in the studio is 2:16. Phone number in the studio is 732-800-1008. 732-800-1008. Amarnath, I'll take you now to South Africa.
Okay.
This was the third one international that was played at, where was this played? Cinemas Park. And South Africa won this by a wicket.
Of the last ball.
By the way, the Kiwis have something to cheer for. After a very, very, very long time, they have actually won a series, Amarnath.
True.
And that too in South Africa, beating South Africa in South Africa.
I think that's a very
remarkable achievement for the Black Caps.
Absolutely.
I saw the second one international. I saw what Brendan McCullum's unit did to South Africans. And by the way, they have their own troubles. Mm-hmm. South Africa, it's kind of shocking that I'm saying that on air. Until very recently, South Africans were considered as the topmost team. Suddenly things,
not going their way.
The winds change the direction here, Amarnath. But anyway, I will get into that. Here's a scorecard for the third one international, which South Africa won by a wicket.
Sure.
In the last ball. And New Zealand batting first. I thought it was a pretty interesting total, Amarnath. 260 was not a bad total at all.
Absolutely.
With Guptill 5, 20 for Watling, Kane Williamson 6, 54 for Elliott, Brendan McCullum 13, 57 for Munro, 53 for James Franklin. He's been having a good series, Amarnath.
James Franklin has been very consistent.
Yes, that's what I said, exactly. He has had a pretty good series.
I think we discussed him last week also.
Yes, we did.
And he has been one of the anchors in the middle. He has made sure that New Zealand didn't collapse.
Yeah, he made sure in all the matches.
He contributed at a key time.
260 after losing 9 wickets in 50 overs. 261 for the South Africans to chase. So Sobe has taken 4 wickets and 4 wickets for McLaren. Each of them took 4, and I think that there was one run out of Kyle Mills, Duplessis.
True.
Inflicted that. South Africa, here they come, 261 to chase. Cock and Smith, 31 for Cock. Smith, 116. What a century by him.
Unbelievable century. And as long as he was there, it looked like a sure thing that...
14 boundaries. 14 boundaries, Amarnath.
Yes.
Ingram, 25, 19 for Duplessis. By the way, he's a captain now for South Africa. We will talk about the situation with De Villiers just a little bit, Amarnath. But let me just take you to the scorecard first.
Okay.
Behradin, have you seen him play? I've seen him play. I've read about him. I have been reading about him.
I've heard the name.
in the South African domestic structure and especially T20 leagues. He's created a lot of name for himself.
Okay.
I saw him bat a little bit the first couple of one-day internationals. In today's match, he only managed to get 4 runs. Miller, and I'm talking about David Miller, 15-25 for McLaren, and 264 is what the South Africans scored on the last ball.
It was they made it closer than needed. When I say they, South Africa had the match in control. But you have to give credit to New Zealand. They never gave up. They made this game valid till the last ball. And I was almost certain that New Zealand would pull off a last ball victory.
Now, Amarnath, let's get right into our discussions.
I did the fundamental analysis for that game as well.
We'll come back to that.
Okay.
We'll come back to that. The thing that I want to discuss with you is A.B. de Villiers.
Yes.
His situation. I know Gary Kirsten also had a pretty interesting...
long interview he had given.
What's going on there?
It doesn't seem to be working out for him as a captain.
De Villiers. A.B. de Villiers.
For A.B. de Villiers. It's not working out for him as a wicketkeeper either.
That's something unique. Go ahead.
So, when you have 2 things out of 3 working against you, that puts a lot of pressure on the rest.
In fact, it was Kirsten who insisted that de Villiers be the captain of the one-day side.
He wanted him to step up and take more responsibility.
Correct.
And initially it looked like it might work out, but it's not working out. See, the problem with South Africa is, but for Smith, who proved to be a natural leader, nobody else took up that spot.
There were 5 run-outs in the last one-day international.
In the second one. That's criminal.
That is absolutely criminal. But all credit goes to the New Zealand fielders. Their fielding was superb, Amarnath.
See, that's what the difference between the test team and the one-day team, you could see it was a night and day. New Zealanders believed in themselves. Probably the test matches gave them the confidence that, yes, we will be able to do better. And they have really shown, though they lost the third game on the last ball, I would say it was almost as good as a 3-0 sweep.
Yes.
It is almost as good as a 3-0 sweep for them.
Now the Kiwis are almost done with this. This was the last one international. Pakistan will be visiting South Africa now.
And also New Zealand will be hosting England. You're going to have a very busy season ahead.
And plus IPL
and
is
then
not that far.
Australia is coming to India.
Oh yeah, we have that. I have that. Depending upon how the time permits, we'll get to that. But Amarnath, South Africa in Pakistan in South Africa. Here's a did you know. Here's a did you know for Pakistan have won 2 and lost 6 of the 9 tests played against South Africa in South Africa.
They won 2 test matches and lost 6 test matches.
Correct. And Pakistan...
So only 1 draw. Out of 9 test matches, only 1 draw. That's a very good statistic.
And Pakistan's 2 win came in Durban. In 98, when they won by 29 runs, and in Port Elizabeth in 2007, when they won by 5 wickets.
By 5 wickets.
So these are the only 2 wins Pakistan has. Fast forward to the current team now. I think Pakistan riding very high on the morale after beating India in India. I think they have a pretty good, solid team in building, with Hafiz leading the charge in the T20s and the one-dayers and opening up the innings. And along with him, he's got Jamshed Nazir. I think they have a pretty good team in building right now. The question will be, how will they perform in South African conditions? They've got the right pace attack. I think they do. Not I think they do. I think they definitely have a good pace attack. They have a mixture of spinners as well. Their batsmen are very temperamental at certain stages. But I think it's a team in rebuilding, and I do see a lot of hope here for Team Pakistan in tackling South Africa in South Africa.
Yes and no. Let me tell you where I have my reservations.
Let's talk about no first.
The no. It's a very inexperienced side.
That's what I said. It's a team in rebuilding
very
right
inexperienced. The batting is extremely weak. If you take away Hafiz and Nasir Jamshed, they are very much dependent on those 2. If those 2 don't click, I can't, unless Azhar Ali and Yunus and Misbah come to the party and play their innings.
There is no question, Amana, that the talent is not the problem with these 3 individuals also.
These three are not scoring. I don't find any big scores from these three. When I said these three, I mean Misbah, Yunus and Azhar Ali.
And let's not forget the Akmals.
I think Akmals are not there. They have been dropped.
Oh, yes, Akmals are dropped. You're right.
Akmals are dropped. Sarfraz is the wicketkeeper.
Sarfraz is the wicketkeeper, correct.
I don't know who's going to be batting number 6 for Pakistan. Okay? So the batting is very suspect in my opinion. And their bowling, they have in Junaid a great bowler.
Yes.
I don't think and they have a great spinner in Saeed Ajmal. And they are very capable of containing or keeping South Africa, taking 20 wickets of South Africa. That is not a problem for Pakistan, taking 20 South African wickets. The question is going to come down to Pakistan batting. That is the no part. The yes part is their bowling. No part is their their batting.
I could guess that much. Irfan, we saw what he did in India.
See, Irfan might be good for short spells. I don't know whether he's got the fitness to bowl for five test matches. He's 5-day test matches.
He's a young talent, and I'm sure.
No, he's not very young. He's about 30 years old.
I mean, young in the as far as the experience is concerned.
Yes, exactly.
I guess more matches he gets under his belt, and especially when you're going and playing in South Africa.
Yeah, the bouncy wickets.
Exactly. And somebody like Irfan, I think it will be really nice. Now, here's how the venue looks, Amanat. The first test.
And one more point about Pakistan which worries me is their fielding. There's not the same Pakistan fielding, which I saw they did well in India in terms of their batting and bowling. Their fielding did not impress me too much. They need to step up their fielding, because in South Africa they're not going to give as many opportunities like how India did. Their fielding has to step up and their batting has to step up. If they can lift up these two by another 20%, then they can win the series.
Wonderful. Here's how the venue looks. First test will begin on February 1st, and that will be played at Johannesburg, South Africa versus Pakistan. Second test, February 14th through the 18th, and that will be at Cape Town.
Oh, beautiful Cape Town.
Yeah, that's a very, very good stadium, Amanat. Third test.
I hope I can go and watch one game there.
That's in fact, my next goal is to go visit South Africa and especially watch these matches.
One of my goals in life is to go watch a test match in Cape Town.
I hope you get your chance very soon, sir.
Okay.
Third test will begin on February 22nd, and that will be at Centurion.
Correct. So Johannesburg, Cape Town, and Centurion.
Correct. And the first T20 will be played at Durban.
And how many one-day matches are they playing?
I'm getting the right now, Manath, for you. And again, as I mentioned earlier to you, Durban is where they have won their first test match. And first one international will start at Bloemfontein. That will be on March 10th. And the second one will be played at Centurion on March 15th. March 17th will be at Johannesburg. 21st of March will be at Kingsmead, Durban. And the final and the fifth one international will be played on March 24th at Benoni.
Okay.
So there are going to be 5 one international between Pakistan and South Africa. This will be a good contest. And as my friend here mentioned earlier, that this is going to be a very busy season again, because not only you have South Africa and Pakistan, you also have India and Australia, New Zealand, and England. England will be touring New Zealand.
And very soon after that, New Zealand will be touring England also.
Correct.
So it's like a home and home series.
Absolutely correct, sir. So it's a busy season, and plus, let's not forget IPL.
IPL is coming.
So, Amanat, friends, where you are listening to Full Toss with Amanat and Amit on Radio Dil, online radiodil.com. Time in the studio is 2:28. Amanat, we'll go and do our This Day in Cricket segment.
Okay, go ahead.
January 26th. 1934.
1934, okay.
Bradman scores 128.
Against England?
Against Victoria.
Okay,
in 96 minutes, consisted of 17 boundaries and 4 sixes.
Okay.
That's Bradman to you, sir.
Okay.
Let's move on to the birthdays.
Birthdays, oh, okay.
Born January 26, 1878.
1878. He was a little ahead of my
a South African cricketer. He was also known as the Grand Old Man.
Nourse.
Absolutely correct.
When he said Grand Old Man, I know. He's some A.W. Nurse, Arthur Nurse.
A.W. Dave Nourse.
Dave Nurse.
Born January 19... Oh, by the way, good job. Kudos to that, Amanat.
Okay. No, when he's a grand old man of South Africa, there's only one man.
Born January...
He played first-class cricket till the age of 57.
Yes. In fact, we talked about him not long ago. Born January 19th, 1945.
1945. That means 1917.
He's played for North South Wales, Mick Hill.
Okay. Doesn't ring a bell.
Born January 26th, 1954.
1954, so 25 years, 1980. Okay.
A brilliant Australian batsman. Played between 1977 and 84.
Okay.
Kim Hughes.
Kim Hughes, yes. If you had said captain, I would have said Kim Hughes. He toured India in 79 as a captain during the Kerry Packer series.
Yes.
He was one who didn't sign with the Kerry Packer.
Correct.
He was never accepted by them. He captained and then he resigned.
Kim Hughes.
Resigned from captaincy, went to South Africa. I know.
Born January 26, 1957.
57.
Indian batsman.
Okay.
In 7 tests between 1982 and 1984. Ashok Malhotra.
Yeah, Ashok Malhotra. 80 to 84. He was like a Vishwanath lookalike.
Yeah, yes, indeed.
He played 7 test matches, but he couldn't consolidate his position in the team. But he was in the Benson and Hedges tournament, which India won. He was part of the ODI outfit.
Correct.
Okay. Ashok Malhotra, he has scored a ton of runs for Delhi and Bengal in Ranji.
And I'm glad you mentioned that.
Because he's got an average of above 50 in first-class cricket. That is something. Anybody who has got an average of above 50 even in first-class cricket is a special player.
Born January 26, 1960... same year, 1957, Amanat. Okay. Indian off-spinner. 102 wickets. Shivlal Yadav.
102 is a giveaway. I know.
Between 79 and 87 he played.
Once he said 102, I knew it was Shivlal
Yadav, absolutely correct.
Off-spinner, because Venkat took 189, he took 157 wickets.
Yes.
And Prasanna took 189, so I knew 102 was Shivlal Yadav.
Born January 26, 1962.
1962, so if I take 25...
He's only played one test versus Australia in 1983, Sri Lankan player, Roshan Gururatne.
No, it doesn't ring a bell.
Actually, it's Gunuratne. Not Gururatne. Born January 26, 1962, Australian off-spinner of 87 through 95. Timme. Oh, my God.
Because once you said 87, he played in the World Cup.
Yes, he did.
For Australia.
He did.
Yeah, so here's the off-spinner of the... There are not too many off-spinners Australia produced. At that time.
This will be the third time I'll be mentioning North South Wales, Amanat.
New South Wales.
New South Wales, yes. ODI all-rounder, born January 26, 1963, Simon O'Donnell.
He also came to India in that World Cup.
Okay.
He's now a commentator.
Yes.
Simon O'Donnell had a brief career, but he's now more well known as a commentator for Australia.
He played between 1985 and 1990.
Yeah, he played in the World Cup.
He played in the World Cup.
Yes.
Also, now we'll move on to the obituaries.
Okay.
Passed away January 26, 1961.
1961, so it'll be around, say, 1900.
He's played for England. He's played 14 tests for England between 1930 and 1939. He's taken 41 wickets. Is Maurice Nichols. I think he toured India, if I'm not mistaken, in 33-34. Well, friends, that was our This Day in Cricket segment.
Yes.
And listeners can also find this segment on our blog, fulltosscricket.com. Friends, you are listening to Full Toss with Amit and Amanat on Radio Dil, online, radiodil.com, for iPhone downloads, application known as Radio Dil. You can also listen to us on your regular phones, dialing the number 408-418-5000. Once again, that is 408-418-5000. For Android phones, application known as Tune Radio. Phone number in the studio, 732-800-1008. 732-800-1008. आप सुन रहे रेडियो दिल से दिल तक. Friends, we'll be right back after these short messages from our sponsor. Welcome back, friends. You are listening to Full Toss. This is your host, Amit, along with Amanat. Would like to welcome you back for the second half. Amanat, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
We had a pretty busy first half, Amanat, and I promised you it will be busy, and the second half is even busier. So let me cut right to the chase. Before I get into India and England, here are a couple of Did You Knows.
Go ahead.
For you and for our listeners as well. Did you know Jack Gregory holds...
Australia.
A
captain he was.
Yes. Holds a record for most catches in a series. It's taken 15 by a fielder.
By a fielder.
Gregory achieved this in the 1920-21 Ashes in Australia.
Yes, which I think they won 5-0 if I'm not mistaken.
Second position is another Australian with 14 catches. That's Greg Chappell, followed by Bob Simpson, Brian Lara and Rahul Dravid, who have 13 catches each.
The first few names you mentioned, all are Australians.
Yes, indeed, sir.
You mentioned Greg Chappell,
Gregory,
Bobby
Greg
Simpson.
Chappell, Bobby Simpson, and then you have Lara and Dravid.
Lara and Dravid.
And also, did you know, among the opening batsmen, Michael Atherton
of England
has been dismissed for a duck most often.
Oh my God.
17 times.
17 times.
Followed by a Sri Lankan.
Jayasuriya.
Marvan Atapattu.
Okay, Marvan Atapattu. Okay.
He has been dismissed 16 times, Amanath. And guess who made the list? Number 3 position comes Virendra Sehwag.
Our own Viru.
Yeah, Viru. He manages to get himself on the 3rd position here. He has been dismissed for a duck on 15 occasions. 15
occasions he's gone for a duck?
Yes, indeed, sir.
Oh, that's an interesting. So he either hits out or gets out.
That's Viru to you, sir.
Okay.
And this time he's definitely out because he hasn't been gotten a chance. I know for first 3 one-day international he was rested or dropped, whichever you want to say that. I'll let you pick the sides. Mr. India, and I'm referring to Cheteshwar Pujara here, Ramanath.
Oh, you call him Mr. India.
Mr. Invisible player.
The invisible. But I think he's going to get his chance tomorrow.
I hope so.
In the Dharamsala.
Now, here comes India and England.
Game number 5.
Fifth one international. India has already won the series.
Yes, that was a very good match at Mohali.
At Mohali.
You and I got it right.
Yeah, indeed, sir. Rohit Sharma finally got a chance. In fact, he was promoted. And you know what? Not the first time I've heard somebody. I know Skanda had mentioned that. I know other people who also, some of the experts who mentioned that Sharma should be promoted up the order. Now, once again, we all know Sharma. He's a definitely gifted.
I don't know why everybody praises him to the skies, but he had never delivered. I'm glad he delivered in this game.
Once again, let me also point out here what Amanath is saying. All the experts, and especially people who played with him or playing with him, you go and talk to anybody at the domestic circuit. People are nothing but praises for him.
Let me qualify what I was very impressed in 2008 in the VB series, which India won in Australia.
Correct.
We won it 2-0 against, and he played brilliantly in that series. But after that, he never really lifted his game because he should have been aware people would study his weaknesses and go after him. He played very well, by the way, in the 2007 World Cup, which India won.
Yes.
Which India won, he played very well. After that, he somehow tailed off.
You're talking about the T20?
T20 World Cup.
Yes.
And in the ODIs, he played well. But later on, despite being given multiple chances, he never cashed in his opportunities. But the buzz about him was he was supremely talented. Supremely talented.
Well, we saw his talent on the fourth one international. The way he paced his innings. There's no surprise. We have talked about him in 2008, Amanath. Again, we have talked about him. Vijay and I used to talk about him. When he came the T20 World Cup in 2007. He's one of the players who can play the short balls very well.
He's got a tremendous pull shot.
Exactly. Thank you for bringing that up. In fact, Dhoni also mentioned the same thing. If you heard,
you could see that in that innings.
Yes,
I watched that innings. I replayed that innings of Rohit Sharma. Very impressive. That 83 was outstanding.
Again. Can he repeat that? Well, I'm not expecting him to repeat the 80s or 100s, whatnot, but at least have a consistent performance. After being given so many chances. Now another buzz tomorrow, and I've been waiting for this opportunity. My only concern about this player is he doesn't play the short balls really well. In fact, any rising deliveries, and I'm referring to Suresh Raina.
Yes, a well-known defect about him.
Indeed, sir. Now, the buzz around the team management is there's a possibility that tomorrow Raina might be opening up along with Rohit Sharma, and number 3 will be Cheteshwar Pujara.
If he is made to open, how is he going to play this short ball? I'm really, and it's going to be a very nippy wicket.
Correct.
Dharamsala is a very nippy wicket, at least given all the reports.
Raina has expressed his feelings in the past to Dhoni and team management that he definitely wants to bat up in the order. But, looking at his record, looking at his style of batting, And looking at how he doesn't like to perform with the short balls, not sure if this would be a right move.
Well, if he's confident, give him the chance. This is the best time to try it out.
Most probably he'll be getting a chance tomorrow to open the
Try
innings.
him out. That's why you have a dead rubber game available to try out these things. And especially given the fact that it's going to be a nippy wicket, give it a shot.
Amarnath, I am really impressed by Bhuvaneshwar Kumar and Shami Ahmed.
They have been the new finds for this series.
Unbelievable.
And against Pakistan.
Unbelievable. They have, and Dhoni once again stuck to his spell. He gave Bhuvaneshwar Kumar all 10 overs in the beginning. Now, Bhuvaneshwar, as people, experts have pointed out, that as the ball tends to get older, Kumar tends to lose his control a little bit. He's very good with the new ball.
And you're absolutely right. But a good bowler becomes a great bowler when he starts bowling at the death.
Yes, indeed, sir. And that has been the problem for Team India.
India has no, leave alone great bowlers. We don't even have good bowlers at the death. Last 10 overs, we leak 100 runs. India leaks 100 runs in the last 10 overs. And all the good work done in the first 40 overs gets wiped out. And that's what happened against Team England. When they scored 260 runs, India was under the gun. And luckily, because of Rohit Sharma and Raina, India won the game in Mohali. So,
by the way, this was his third consecutive 50 for Raina.
Yeah, he's been scoring consistently.
And I think he has scored 50 in last 6 one internationals.
He is a great tiger on Indian wickets.
Yes, that's precisely what, and that's why I brought it up in Dharamsala, where the wicket is going to be much more helpful for the English
conditions.
Yes, much more suitable for them. Not sure how that's going to pan out for Raina, especially opening. Well, we'll wait and see what happens tomorrow.
But as a batsman, he has to learn how to adapt.
Correct.
And I think at that level, it's possible if the batsmen believe in themselves, they can at least come to terms with it. They may not be the best players of fast bowling. I remember there used to be an English batsman who was known to play fast bowling very well. And his name was Bob Wyatt. Mm-hmm. And he was asked, how come you play fast bowling very well? He says, I don't like it, but I come to terms with it.
Well said. Well, Amarnath, tomorrow the match will start. In fact, for us, it's going to be tonight, 9:30 local time in the morning. I think it's a pretty early start, especially playing in Dharamshala, where you have...
but there's a lot of fog there.
There's a lot of fog there. Look what happened in Mohali.
Yes. And
so I doubt they'll have a 9:30 start.
A lot of fog there, and... it's such a beautiful place.
Unbelievable. In fact, it's the highest.
Did you see that pavilion? It was made like a pagoda.
Yes.
Like a Tibetan pagoda it is.
In fact, we have mentioned this in the past also. This is the only stadium in the world which is at the highest elevation.
I think they should open up the borders and welcome the Tibetans and Chinese to come and watch the cricket match.
I think you're going to raise a lot of eyebrows there, Ramana.
No, we can have cricket diplomacy. Or when you can have ping pong diplomacy, you should have cricket diplomacy.
Dharamshala is this is going to be a debut. In fact, this series there were 2 debutants, Ranji and now Dharamshala.
Well, yeah, their first international game.
International match.
Though they have hosted IPL games.
No, they have. I mean, these stadiums have been there, but as far as the international matches are concerned, they're both the debutants. And another debutant tomorrow will be, let's see if he gets a chance, will be Mr. India himself, Cheteshwar Pujara.
I'm almost certain he's going to get a chance to play. I think Gambhir will be asked to sit down and he'll be rested. And Raina might be asked to open the innings.
I don't mean to drag the wheel here too much, Amarnath, but just real quickly before we move on to other topics here. Gautam Gambhir, yes, he's been getting a lot of heat from just about anybody. Anybody who can write is writing about him. Anybody can open their mouth, they're talking about him. But as a cricket lover, as somebody who understands cricket very well, you also, I mean, my question to you, yes, he's got into this nasty habit of dabbing the ball. When there is no run, for some reason, he starts running, creates confusion. Now, it's different when he's batting with Sehwag. Both Sehwag and Gambhir have played with each other, not only for India, but also for Delhi. So they know their styles very well. But when you get somebody like Rohit Sharma or any other opener, it's very confusing. Because as soon as he dabs, I don't know why. How he got into this habit, and I hope he shakes it out very soon.
I would say that the kindest term, he's on probation. Let me put it that way. Despite having reached,
looks like. Despite
having played brilliantly in the World Cup, final, he scored 97. People forget that. If he had scored three more runs,
you cannot carry forward on just basis on your past performances. You have to perform because there are other players also waiting in the line.
No, but that will carry only a couple of matches.
Look at Harbhajan Singh.
He's gone.
He's gone.
Zahir Khan, he's gone.
Zahir Khan is gone. Bhaji is gone, and I'm pretty sure now if
Sehwag is for all practical purposes gone.
And if I'm talking about other players as well. You're talking about Ishant Sharma. I'm talking about Praveen Kumar. I know Praveen Kumar has been struggling with injuries, but with the new crop coming in now, it's just going to be very, very difficult. Look at Srishant, his history. You don't hear about Srishant anymore.
He underwent surgery and all that. Yes.
So it's going to be very difficult for even Gambhir. But he's a great player, great talent. He's just gotten into some nasty habits. I hope, somebody talks to him, somebody works with him, work on his technique.
He has to work on himself. He has to spend time at the nets and shake off his bad habits and translate it into the game. See, somebody could be a great nets player, but once they go onto the field, they forget what they did in the nets and they have a relapse.
Amarnath, before I move on to our next topic, another thing I just wanted to clarify, because last week I've received many phone calls, emails about one of the comments I made about some of the players playing currently in the India team that they should go and play some domestic cricket. Just to add to that, what's been also happening, Amarnath, is with IPL, with other matches going on, these players are also getting paid very heavily.
The Ranji players,
not Ranji players. I'm talking about the national side here.
Okay.
So it's very difficult for somebody to just refuse. It's all about money at the end of the day.
And they're professionals.
They're professionals. So, and with such a busy schedule, now you have India and England series just concluding. Australia is coming right after Australia, which ends around 26th of March. Then you have the IPL. As soon as the IPL ends, then you have a few more series going on. So there is never a break.
True.
And so that's what I was hinting at. But yes, it is also true that the more you go and play at the domestic structure, Amarnath, you tend to improve your techniques. You're facing other, you're playing in the familiar conditions.
Not only that, you're playing against a bunch of people who are equally hungry to take your spot.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So it's like you're...
I'm not sure that's going to happen, Amarnath, especially with so much of cricket being played these days. I think it will just remain a thought.
I'm not too much in favor of a round-the-clock schedule.
But that's the reality now.
That's a reality, and I think that is an incorrect way of managing the resources. BCCI is... and not only BCCI, the entire ICC board.
Not only BCCI. Let's not... I know we will talk about BCCI
they need to
all the
give
time.
like a 3-month gap for...
Amarnath, the cricket that we have been used to has changed now. Well, friends, that's enough about India and England. Let me also get into the Saurashtra movement. But before that, ICC Women's World Cup.
Okay.
Which will be starting on January 30th.
Where exactly is it?
I'm going to tell you right now. Here are the groups for Women's World Cup. Group A, England, India, Sri Lanka and West Indies.
Okay, that's a strong team.
That's a very, very strong group, Amarnath. Group B, Australia, New Zealand, Pakistan and South Africa.
Okay.
These are the groups. And here's the schedule. And I know there are some of the warm-up matches that are happening now. Let me get right into the group matches. The first match will be played at the Bandra Kurla complex in Mumbai on Thursday, January 31st. And that is between...
It's in India then, essentially.
India. This is in India.
In India.
Pakistan will be facing Australia in the first match. That is the Group B match. Group A, also on January 31st, that will be played at the Wankhede Stadium, Amarnath.
Okay.
India will be facing West Indies.
In Wankhede.
At Wankhede. This is women's cricket, ICC World Cup, Group A match. On February 1st is the Kiwis will be facing South Africans. And that will be played also at the Wankhede Stadium. And then you have the Group A match on February 2nd. England will be facing Sri Lanka. Now, here's an interesting fact. And in fact, I know initially when ICC, if you go on the ICC website, Pakistan were to face the Black Caps on February 3rd at the Bandra Kurla complex in Mumbai, but that the word is that will be shifted to Cuttack. Because some political threats in Mumbai.
Which is sad. Which is extremely sad.
Some groups are opposed of playing, having Pakistan play in Mumbai. So most probably all the Pakistan matches will be shifted to Cuttack.
I think from a security standpoint, it makes sense, but from a purely political threat, it's very sad. I would prefer politics not enter the game.
And yes, indeed, this is going to be a very, very interesting World Cup, Amanath.
I'll definitely, given the fact that it's going to be played in India, I think the Indian media should cover it with a bit more detail, and I hope it gets covered on television too.
And Amanath, friends, you are listening to Full Toss. This is your host Amit, along with Amanath, on Radio Dil, online, radiodil.com. You can also log on to our blog, fulltosscricket.com, and we're also on YouTube.
We have a YouTube channel, Full Toss Cricket.
You can just type in there. Amanath, today's show will be posted by
either tonight or tomorrow morning at the latest.
And you can always log on to Full Toss. Just type in Full Toss Cricket Radio Show, Cricket Talk Show, any of them, and you will see Full Toss. Today's show posted on YouTube. And Amanath, before we wrap up the show, here is the news from the domestic front.
The Ranji final.
The Ranji Trophy final between Mumbai and Saurashtra. Now, this is being played at the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai.
Yes.
What a start from Mumbai.
Amazing.
What a start from Mumbai.
Go ahead.
Here's a scorecard. And we'll delve into this thing. Currently at stumps, day 1, Mumbai trailed by 129 with 10 wickets. Saurashtra bundled out for 148, Amanath.
148. They were made to bat. Put into bat.
Ajit Agarkar he put them to bat, and he had a lot of trust in his bowlers with Dhabolkar and Kulkarni.
Kulkarni. At one time he was chosen for India, but never made it.
Yes.
He was a prospect at one time for India.
In fact, he still has got a lot of talent, Amanath. He definitely does. I have seen him play many times in the domestic structure. I have been reading about him. He uses the conditions so well. In fact, and as a testimony, what I'm talking about, if you saw the match yesterday, the way he bowled at Wankhede Stadium, he took advantage of the early morning sessions. What a spell he has had. He took 3 wickets right away.
3 wickets and ended up with 4.
148 is Saurashtra bundled up. By the way, Saurashtra is also performing so consistently. And they don't have their 2 stars, Ravindra Jadeja and Cheteshwar Pujara, who are now representing the national side. But even without them, I think Saurashtra is still pretty capable of putting a dent into any scoreboard. But 148 is the only thing they achieved, and Mumbai is not out at 19. Day 1 at stumps. Go ahead.
Just see the Mumbai team. You have got Agarkar, Kulkarni. Remember Abhishek Nair?
Yes.
Who was also like an Indian prospect?
Yes, indeed.
Abhishek Nair, he took 2 wickets.
Yes.
So this Mumbai team reminds me of the same fighting team of Mumbai of the 60s. I used to say that any visiting team could beat Team India, but could rarely beat Team Mumbai. And
if Mumbai were to win this, they'll have 40th Ranji Trophy final titles under their belt.
When I was growing up, playing against Bombay and doing well against them was the ultimate badge of honor.
I remember in 91 when Abhay Kuruvilla, in fact, he made his debut on the finals.
Yes.
In that year. And guess who was also playing with him, along with him, rubbing shoulders with him? Ravi Shastri,
Vengsarkar,
Tendulkar, Manjrekar.
And also you had that lefty who played with
Kamli. Vinod Kamli was also playing in that time.
Amazing team.
Bombay has always had pretty good, solid team, but over the years, other teams have also caught up, Amanath.
They have caught up, but still, I would give Bombay the pride of place, and I'll call them
Mumbai.
Mumbai. They are truly the nursery of Indian cricket.
Well, Amanath, unfortunately, that's all the time we had left for today.
Okay.
Friends, you were listening to Full Toss with Amit and Amanath on Radio Dil, online radiodil.com for iPhone downloads. Application known as Radio Dil. You can also listen to us on your regular phones, dialing the number 408-418-5000 for Android phones. Application known as Tune Radio. Phone number in the studio 732-800-1008. Aap sun rahe Radio Dil. Dil se, Dil tak. This time I would like to thank our listeners, Amanath, and our online followers. people listeners who follow our blog regularly, and most importantly, I want to thank our listeners for supporting us on our YouTube channel.
Yes, particularly them, because the number of hits we have got on that gives us a very good indication that people are interested in listening to our show. Thank you.
And once again, you can log on to YouTube. Just type in Full Toss Cricket Radio Show or Cricket Talk Show, either one of them, and it pops up.
And you can subscribe to the channel as well.
Indeed, sir. Above all, Amarnath, I want to thank you for your participation, your expertise, your knowledge you bring to this table. It makes it absolutely much more interesting.
Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure and privilege to be here.
Friends, we'll be back here next Saturday afternoon, same time, 2 to 3. Till then, everybody have a fantastic weekend.
And a very happy Republic Day to all those in India.
Indeed, sir. Well, friends, have a wonderful weekend.